one, now you want to factor both the top and the bottom. Now this one doesn't surprise me that you brought it up as a problem that you guys wanted to see, mainly because of the higher power at the top and the bottom. Now that's not going to change in all likelihood, but you still want to try to factor and then hope that something will cancel. All right, now the bottom's definitely easier to factor than the top. X signs are going to be minus, minus. Multiply together to get 6. Add together to get me 5. 2, 3. Now the top one, do you guys recognize that one as anything special? Sum of 2 cubes. So you get a little one and a big one. Remember those from last year? And then the signs, you guys remember how the signs work? It's been a while.
Plus, minus, minus.
For the positive one, it's plus, minus, plus. All right, cubed root of the first term, that goes here. What's that going to be? Cubed root of the second one here. Take this one and square it, that goes here. Take the second one, square it, it goes on the end. 1, multiply them together, it goes in the middle. Okay, now does anything cancel? No, but we were hoping. Now this was not a complete waste because this is going to make it easier to get for my testing points later on. Okay. But that's not going to work. So how about, oh, and also I can get my vertical asymptotes off of this. So what are my vertical asymptotes going to be? Now, horizontal asymptotes. No. Horizontal asymptotes are the 3 categories. What category does this one fit into? Right, so there is no horizontal asymptotes, but there are oblique asymptotes, and we need to go looking for them. So we go x squared minus 5x plus 6. And I want to know how many of those there are in this. X cubed plus 0x squared plus 0x plus 1. Okay, what do you multiply together, or what do you multiply x squared by to get x cubed? X. So then I distribute x times x squared as x cubed. X times negative 5x. X times 6. Change all my signs. Add down, these cancel. I get 5x squared minus 6x plus 1. What do you multiply x squared by to get 5x squared? 5. Distribute 5 times x squared is 5x squared. 5 times negative 5x is negative 25x. And 5 times 6 is 30. Change all my signs. Add down. On this one now I got 19x minus 29. What do you multiply x squared by to get 19x? We don't. So that is going to be my remainder. 19x minus 29 over x squared minus 5x plus 6. But more importantly, the power is higher in the bottom than the top finally, so this is out. So I get oblique asymptote of y equals x plus 5. All right, now we're good to start graphing this thing. Because the higher power is in the top and the bottom, those don't have horizontal asymptotes. The other kinds do. All right, so I know that I've got a vertical asymptote at 2. I've got a vertical asymptote at 3. What?
Whoever uses the remainder.
No.
So
Yeah. Right, and then I'm going to have a oblique asymptote. Starts at 5. It's got a positive slope of 1. Okay. Okay, so I have all these sections that I need to test to see what's happening in. The one I'm not looking forward to is that little one, because it means I'm going to have to use a lot of fractions to figure out what's going on in there. But the ones on the ends, that one shouldn't be so bad. So if I plug 0 into this thing, right, now I can either go with the original or this one. It's probably going to be easier to use the factored one, I think. So let's say I plug 0 in there to test this first section and figure out where this thing is. If I plug 0 in here, I'm going to get 1 times, if I plug 0 in there, I'm going to get times 1. And then plug 0 in there, I'll get -2 times -3. So I'm going to get 1 over 6. So if I plug in 0, I get out 1/6. What's happening in this section? Well,
It's going up.
oh, no, we didn't have you guys draft. We actually didn't draft these things last night, did we? Oh, that's coming. That's coming. I'm sorry. I should have even read the directions. No, you're right. All we needed to do was come up with these things for now. But this is coming. Okay, yeah, no worries. You guys aren't responsible for this yet. You will. No wonder you guys were perplexed. Okay, so I got my information. What else did they want to know in that section? Maybe I should read the directions.
Actually, it's one of those.
Oh, that's it. Vertical, horizontal, and obliques. Got it. So my verticals are 2 and 3, my horizontals that don't exist, and my obliques are of that nature. So, sorry. Didn't mean to make it more complicated than it's supposed to be. Okay. Well, I wasted a lot of time. There's 1. 46. Okay, on 46, we've got x is 4x squared over x cubed minus 1. All right, does this factor at all? Either one of these? Yes. Top one, no. Bottom one, yes. That's the difference of 2 cubes. Little one, big one. Yeah, well, we did the sum. So the only thing, it's exactly the same. The only thing that's different is the signs. This one goes minus plus plus.
So it's still the same.
Yep, so the cubed root of x cubed, cubed root of 1. What goes here?
X squared.
Here?
Oh,
Oh, okay.
now you're going in order.
Yeah, I got you.
Scared.
It's okay. I'm scary. All right, so vertical asymptotes. What makes this 0? 1. Now, can I get a 0 in there? Will that factor anymore? If that part we're going to factor, it would be part of the formula, right? All right, and if I put it in the quadratic formula, what will I get out? Big try. Let's try it so that we can look. So the opposite of b, what's b here? X. 1, the number in front of x. So the opposite of b plus or minus b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. -1 plus or minus square root of 1 minus 4. I get negative square root of 3. What am I going to get here? Stop now. I'm going to get imaginaries. So I don't even get real solutions out of this, so I don't have to worry about it. So the only asymptote that I'm going to have here, vertical, is 1. All right, horizontal asymptote, I have a higher power in the bottom than the top. What's that mean? That's one of the easy ones. That's category 1. So where will my horizontal asymptotes always be when my higher power is in the bottom than the top? No. Get your notes.
Remember I got yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Was that like a rule or that was just for those problems?
Like the middle one? The middle one was just for that problem. For the first one, that's the rule. It'll work for everyone.
Has to be good.
Okay, we can't find it. We will do a rationale through it. So what happens as I plug in larger and larger numbers here? Medium one on the top.
Top one farther, or like bigger, so it's a bottom one. Oh,
No, it's the other way around. This one's going to get enormous because I'm cubing it. This one's going to stay relatively small. So when I have a relatively small number divided by a giant number, okay, so what is this one's horizontal asymptote? always.
I thought that was
Nope. Anytime that the higher power is in the bottom than the top, it's 0. All right, we want to try to factor both the top and the bottom first, just in case. So the top x signs are plus plus. Multiply together to get 5, add together to get 6. That was my impulse as well. But there's another way around it. What do you multiply together to get 5? Does that add to get 6?
5, 1.
All right, and now the one down here, what do you multiply together to get a 2x squared? Well, this one has a coefficient.
So this would be 2x.
Okay. Plus, plus. All right, then multiply together to get 5. We just did that one. 5 and 1. Let's see if that works. So I get 2x squared plus 2x plus 5x. How many x's does that give me? 7. So is that what I wanted? Yep, so this one works. All right, does anything cancel? Yes. That x plus 1's cancel. Now, what does that mean? Is x now allowed to be -1? It still can't be -1, but is -1 an asymptote? No, it'll just be a hole in my graph.
So can I cancel out the plus 5s?
No. And I'm not showing you guys the video. I was about to bust the pan out on you, but it wouldn't have made any sense to you. I just thought I was weird and creepy. If we have time today, I'll show you.
Did you show your class earlier today?
No, I showed them earlier in the week. Everybody's seen the panda, I think.
So it's Panda in a store.
Yeah, at one point he was in the store. Okay, anyways.
Sure. They were watching it before 6.